Dear viewers, welcome. I'm so happy to share with you a piece of my creative world, the beginning of my book Parody Smells Like Bergamot. Today I will read in the first chapter, titled Permanent Halloween. This is an updated version, more precisely a new translation. When I first translated it, my English wasn't so strong as it is now, but with the time and growth, I managed to create a version that better reflects my style and meaning I intended. So here it is, the refreshed translation of chapter 1. Enjoy. Permanent Halloween. Frozen fingers, frozen puddles. The ground freezes under the icy rain. The spicy perfumes give her cuddles. In her backpack is the remarks book gem. An umbrella hides her face from the passers-by. Her hair is azure on the tint of colorful trees. Have you seen her? Whom does she look like? The girl is on the run. She can hear the moan of the beast. More than one treasure hidden in the backpack. For example, the Alistair Crowley deck of tarot cards. The bride entered a quiet night hill to avoid the beast attack. It is time for a new era. The old one ends. The Fall and Tarot. A female student from a Ukrainian province was listening to night scenes in her headphones. The song Fantasy 21 on her way home. The girl was reading a book that her friend had given to her. And in order not to be disturbed by extraneous noises, she listened to music. She felt like the heroine of a horror movie from the 80s. The freshman girl was dressed according to the fashion of that time. She was wearing a black beret that revealed her long curly hair. Her scarf was also black. Her hair was a shade of a dark chestnut, her natural color, and she had dyed two strands blue. The coat was a long anthracite colored draped coat with broad shoulders as was fashionable in the 80s. She wore a black leather skirt, a mustard chocolate knit sweater, and matching tights with a small leopard print. On her feet were black leather biker boots with rivets. The backpack on her lap was also made of drab fabric with a red and black Scottish print. Her makeup was Gothic, and as some would say, she imitated the style of the 80s, even though the girl did not apply her makeup as colorfully as Susie Balian from the band Susie and the Bunches. After all, the students said, "You can't go to New York to university like that." It was clear to those in the known whom she was inspired by. The girl lingered a little after classes. Together with her fellow students, she decided to drop by a pub. She drank only a glass of red wine. In that pub they always played rock and roll music. That pub had truly a soul. And it wasn't even about the interior. It was about the fact that the place had a special aura, inbred, so to speak. Her bartender friend gave her an old, battered book that night. So the girl ended the evening with two books in her hands. The first was Remarks Game, an early work of the artist which she had bought herself and had been reading for several days. The second was a gift, Dracula, in the original language from the 1978 edition. The student was very grateful to the bartender because she had long wanted to read Dracula. The bartender had guessed her taste perfectly. Arriving to the right stop, the girl didn't even notice that she had to get off soon. She was so engrossed in the book. The student almost always read books on her way to the university and back. She was lucky that her stops were always final, so she never missed the right one. The minibus took her to the final station when it was already dark. There was no one except her and the driver inside. At least, no one human. The street outside was also dark and deserted. The golden autumn has long since passed. Its region in this place had ended. It was the middle of November. Halloween has already passed, but for this dark-haired girl it has never truly ended. Hiding the vintage Bram Stoker book in her backpack, the girl got off the bus. Immediately the cool hair washed over her like a refreshing wave. The wind, like a young cat, played with the fallen leaves at her feet as she walked. The wind was cunning. The wind was alive. She loved fall. She always waited for the end of one autumn and the beginning of the next. Everything that represents autumn, or almost everything, caused the feeling of euphoria and aesthetic satisfaction in the young student. Next to her, I'm sorry. The smell of fall, autumn rain, autumn colors, autumn cloth, the beginning of the study season, fallen leaves, autumn gardens, parks, forests, Halloween. It was real magic, at least for Angela. Next to her walked four shadows that only she could see. The shadows bore the names of Satan, Vasago, Samael, and Belial. They looked like human silhouettes, woven from black mist with shining stars instead of eyes and glowing crescent moon instead of a mouth. Once upon a time she had created them, but back then she couldn't even imagine that her fantasy would begin to live an independent life. Sometimes having a rich imagination is bad for your mental health. The song in her headphones ended and Angela turned on the next one from her playlist, Led Zeppelin, No Quarter. The creatures that accompanied the student walked silently beside her. The girl kept wondering, who are they really? Were they truly who they pretended to be, the elite of hell? Or were they merely servants playing a cruel joke on her? They came and still wouldn't leave. Were they even real at all? Was it just a vivid, unhealthy imagination? Is she a witch? Was she possessed? Was she a witch? Was she possessed? Or just she simply insane? Angela remembered the one incident from her childhood A gigantic, or so it seems to her at the time, wooden cross painted blue. The cross stood near the school. When she was an elementary school student, she had asked her mother why there was a giant wooden cross at the school entrance. Her mother answered that they had once planned to build a church on the spot, but they didn't because priests said there was too many witches in the village, and a church has, as the priest claimed, should stand on holy ground. So what? Thought the students. Were there really that many witches here? Or was it just a superstition, a remnant of past ages? The streets of the village seems abandoned. The muffled warm glow of flickering lanterns, almost bare trees, fallen autumn leaves, frozen fingers, the frost pinching her cheeks. The winters lie as a cat, and darkness, sometimes depressing, sometimes mesmerizing, and the children of darkness who were always near. Indeed, thought the girl, every day is Halloween. At the moment Belial overtook Angela and turned her face to her, or at least as much as one could without having a face. Walking backward, the almost clueless angels of the inferno smiled at the freshman girl. Yeah, the student continued the train of her thought. It feels like Dario Argento himself wrote the script for this evening. God forbid a Lucia Fulci script, Belial laughed. Pooh, 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 Angela said it loud. Do you remember what he was called? Asked Vasago. Next, the Dark Ones, together with the girl, mentally said at the same time, Godfather of Gore. God save us, the student continued her thoughts. He was nicknamed so for the extremely brutal scenes in his horror films, Samuel said. I know it, the girl answered mentally. Well done, AE and plus for your erudition, Belial taunted. Uh, you are a fragment, you are a figment of my imagination. You know what I know, Angela thought nervously, and if I didn't know it, you wouldn't know it either. So that's all. Topic closed. The girl smoked her favorite brand of cigarettes and it started to rain lightly. Angela hid under an umbrella. Meanwhile, the evil that was next to her did not even think of hiding. So what? Asked Satan. If you cannot change something, change your attitude towards it. You do not exist. Go away, Angela Marienko thought. Enjoy these Halloween vibes, he continued, because I'm not going anywhere. And whether you like it or not, Vasaga continued for his brother, you are a witch, a real one. And you have a dark soul, Samuel said sadly. After that, the dark ones fell silent. The girl walked the rest of her way listening to music and to thinking about everything. Angela Marienko, a 17-year-old philology student, has long dreamed of becoming a writer. Almost all her life, even when she could not yet write, Angela had wanted to create worlds, stories with those worlds, fill those worlds, heroines and heroes, and adventures without which her heart could not live. She walked through the darkness torn apart by the lanterns with their light. She walked through the familiar outskirts of the village near the city where she studied. She walked along a strange road with as a drizzling rain fell. She woke with a clouded conscience, clouded in that way that only happens to dreamers or to psychopaths. As she walked, the student could feel the flow of time. She could feel the centuries, the years, the months, the days. She could feel the hours, the minutes, even the seconds, almost as if she could touch them. Time felt so thick, too, so tangible. The girl felt as if infinity were an ocean and eternity an abyss into which this ocean flowed, and she was walking along the bottom of this deep ocean, and every drop of water, every grain of sand in this ocean of infinity was a second of life. Time was a rapid stream carrying those drops and grains from the future into the past. From them, minutes, hours, and days were formed. They were not separate from life, they were life itself. Sometimes she found herself in strange state, sensing the movements of heavenly bodies close to earth, and sometimes she even felt the earth itself moving, how we all fly through the cosmic night. Angela could even sense the autumn by touch. She felt all these things the same way her skin now felt the raindrops falling on her. And yet, despite everything, the girl did not use any substance that could cloud the mind. It was normal to her to feel this way. She walked simultaneously in the dimension of people and in the otherworldly dimension of spirits, walked the road home as if it were a wonderland, and as if it were an afterlife, exciting in this, existing in this world and in others at the same time. She saw this world and other worlds through the eyes of the shadows that had accompanied her since childhood. And those shadows in turn saw everything through the eyes of this girl. They seemed to be one. They seemed to be one. These shadows felt her pain and sadness. These shadows felt her joy and inspiration. These shadows felt her love. The shadows, whose names were Satan, Vasago, Belial, and Samael, felt everything the girl felt, and the student, like them, felt everything they felt, because the angels had allowed it. When Satan wept and Belial joked and laughed, she wept and laughed with their shadows. When Samuel was sad and Vasago showed his temper, the girl felt what these angels felt, as if they were one, and no words indeed needed to be spoken. Everything was understood anyway. Someone may not agree with me, Angela thought, but we are all united, everyone with each other. We exist both separately and together, simultaneously and apart. And that is why angels, no matter what they are, with white wings or dark feathers, they know intense interest in making people suffer, because they not only read our thoughts, they also feel what every person feels. As Hemingway said, "Don't ask for whom the bell tolls, it tolls for you." That's what the dark ones taught me. They may not even exist, but they have always taught me wise lessons, because it's one thing to read about it and quite another to experience it yourself. Since childhood, she had seen spirits from folklore, mermaids and mermen on the river floats, Resolvik deep in the forest and near the village, demons, ghosts, angels, and other creatures from the other world. Once she even saw a mohawk in the woods. It happens when she had her class went on a camping trip to cook porridge in late spring. Mohawk is a spirit that lives in moss and confuses and unwary travelers. He looked like a tiny old man in dark green brown clothes, playing with the big red butterfly. As soon as the Mohawk realized that Angela had seen him, he immediately ran away. And now, looking up in the dark sky above her, she saw the planetniks, also known as cloud travelers. They are cloud demons from Slavic mythology. They dragged clouds across the sky covering the stars and the moon. Angela had seen planetniks since childhood and how they herded the clouds and bred rainy weather. When that evening they nodded to her in greeting. They spoke to her, and these were the local spirits. All of these and many more, Angela called her otherworldly neighbors. Thanks to the music and the dark, cool evening, Angela sank deeper into her fictional universe. In truth, she had never really left it. It was her life, her imaginary kingdom, her universe. A universe that was gothic, dark, frightening, and powerful. Once you entered it, there is no way back. And she knew it. When she reached the gate of her house, she started to searching for her keys. A young cat named Yaropolk and an old dog nicknamed Vulcan heard that the lady of the house had returned. Yaropolk ran out to meet Angela, rubbing against her legs. Vulcan barked happily. After a while, the gate opened. Angela stepped into the yard. The cat and the shadows followed her. The students lit a cigarette again. The end of autumn, she thought. The aroma of the perfume Emily Moore, a gift from my older sister, feels so autumnal. At least to me. Woof, woof, the sound came to her. Homemade wine, glowing cat eyes. Homemade wine was waiting for me. Frost, meow, meow, she heard. Frozen puddles, frozen ground. The ground was frozen and moist at the same time. Was that even possible? Frozen fingers, sweet, cold wind, predatory wind. A house in the suburbs drawing in unkempt fallen leaves. Leaves that had fallen during all the day, when no one was home. A house in damp decaying leaves, pumpkins on the steps of the house, pumpkins of different sizes, round, pear-shaped, yellow and orange pumpkins, cigarette smoke, so nice and familiar, pumpkins from our own garden, just pumpkins, not decorated with anything, as if left by nature itself. Pumpkins in raindrops, pumpkins in yellow and brown leaves, pumpkins on the porch steps, pumpkins. Halloween, Satan in a Satan costume. The Led Zeppelin song on repeat. A Halloween that had passed, a Halloween that would never pass. My own Halloween, permanent Halloween. Angela, he called her. You do not exist. Go away. The end of autumn. What a pity. The end of love. The student could feel time slipping through her entire body. Her favorite season was ending, autumn. She stood in the current of time, and the rain kept dripping and dripping. Interesting, she thought. I'm standing now, barely moving, and stand under the cover of night, and our planet Earth flies through the eternal night. I move and don't move at the same time. Do such trips come from just one glass of red wine? Of, or, as Salvador Dali said, I do not do drugs, I'm the drug. While wine and has nothing to do with it. Night, listen to them, the children of the night, what music they make. Children of the night. Children of the night. Children of the night and their music. Bram Stoker was a true artist. That's exactly what they were. Sophisticated, aesthetic, I love classic horror, so to speak. Meanwhile, the creatures of darkness who followed the girl echoed the quote from Dracula and that she had recalled. Some whispered it like an echo, others repeated it louder, letting her voices melt into the night. Letting their voices melt into the night. Angela turned on the Melvin song She Evil. It's perfect for tonight, like Zeppelin's song's No Quarter, the student thought. Then I will play the song by Nirvana, Something in the Way, and their cover of the song Oh Me by the band Meat Puppets. For me, this playlist is perfect. It just suits my mood. She started scrolling through the playlist, looking it over. She Will, No Quarter, Something in the Way, Oh Me, Lullaby by The Cure, Planet Caravan by Black Sabbath. Audrey's song is Eva. BRMC Half State and the song May Never Be. Creature with the Autumn Brain is That Lady Sniff. Chris Isaac, Heart-Shaped World. Warm is Green, You're Too Late, Satan. Type O Negative, Christian Woman. Tears for Fears, Head Over Heels. Maybe I will also listen to the song by Type O Negative, Black Number 1, when I get into the house. I'll connect to the player and I listen to these songs through. Oh, I know. I listened to Nirvana's 1993 MTV concert on vinyl. Thanks God I had this vinyl. These songs are real charms, audio magic. I feel it infinity stored deep inside me. I used to hear not stored deep inside me, but storm deep inside me. The storm is deep inside me. These songs also considered by some of my acquaintances as light rock, but not like are not like that for me. For me, they are dark, lingering, and enveloping all the insides of my soul. I formulate infinity that stores deep inside me. It's so poetic. She looked at the watch. 1911. This is no longer easy rock, not at all. It's like a quagmire. The quagmire in which I'm drowning. And I don't want to be rescued, so I'm addicted to this music. For me, it is medicine. To me, it's spellbinding, magical, with a kind of superstition piety. I relate to these songs. One music critic said that BMC put them back into the music, and now how I adore their work. They cover of Jay's Everett song is simply incredible. That's what sounds like to me. I wanna do bad things to you. BMC sings like a real children of the night, but BMC's song Fireworker fits the vibes of this evening better. I'll I'll add it to the playlist too. Her playlist included more than 300 composition in this style and lasted almost 9 hours. And the girl added new ones. Suddenly, got as she got closer to the uh, threshold, Angela saw a snail on the pumpkins. Interesting, she thought. Why it is here? Don't they hibernate underground? It is already too cold for them. Snails. I remember one horror movie with a giant mother snail and various snails of different sizes. Such a wild thing. Modern horrors are not a pleasure. They ate people and still needed to fill Yarapolk and Vulcan. They've been alone since the very morning. With these thoughts about horror movies, the girl remained her under the cover of the dark autumn sky. As she got closer to the porch, Angela saw that that she had taken for a snail was actually a small fallen leaf. It had stuck to the pumpkin. Finishing her cigarette, she tossed the end into an old and rusty coffee can, which was designed for this purpose. Angela hid the fact that she smoked from her elders, and the can was tucked away in the yard, so no one would see it. No one of people knew about the existence of this can. The student entered the house, and the cat and shadows followed her. The house is full of infernal creatures, the girl thought. The witch house, full of devils, a witch, her cat, and living shadows. Well, for sure, everything is just like in the movies. Angela's family house was built in 1969, an iconic year for all rock and roll fans out there. I think you know what I'm talking about, and also a significant year in the history of cosmonautics. However, Angela's grandparents were not fans of rock and roll music. They weren't particularly interested in space exploration either, or the space race between the States and the Soviet Union. For them, 1969 was simply the year they completed work on their family nest, the building that Angela's family now calls home. One of Angela's relatives jokingly referred to it as the estate, like Angela herself called the witch hut or the witch's lair. Her mother, stepfather, and older sister worked together to renovate the building when Angela was a schoolgirl. They tied a ribbon around what her parents had left for Angela's mother. The house was small, clean, and tidy. It had 3 bedrooms, a kitchen, a bathroom, a dining room, and so on. It had everything you needed and more. Although it had a modern renovation where there were many vintage and almost antique items inside. For example, there were books more than 50 or 70 years old, and even a few from the 1920s. There were services placed down from ancestors, a silver coaster that Angela's father gave her, a family heirloom, vases, candlesticks, and restored pieces of furniture, all of which the young lady of the house cherished. Angela's room was filled with books, the lion's share of which she had purchased herself. Her personal library considered over 700 books. The bookshelves were bursting with them. Most of the collection was classical literature, and Angela also had several dozen modern books that she had chosen herself. From the age of 12, she independently picked the literature she wanted to read. By saving the money her mother gave to her for school and working as a tutor for elementary school students, Angela slowly built her book collection. It was her treasure. Her bought, she bought most of her books from a vintage store near the school. You could find a great books there in a ridiculous price. Angela was glad she could buy them affordably even as a schoolgirl. She often went to raids to second-hand stores, always looking for books. You could find a good literature even books in a foreigner languages in the flesh. That's how she came to own several dozen books in languages she planned to learn in the future. In addition, Angela had modern vinyl record player in her room, a birthday gift along with a large collection of vinyl records. Most of her vinyl collection consisted of gifts from her father. It included more than 200 vintage records, as well as several dozen modern ones that she had purchased. The walls of her room were decorated with a collage of images of rock stars, scenes from movies and TV shows, her own drawings, and some lyrics. All of it was bright and colorful. Angela also had a collection of tarot cards and oracles, more than 15 decks, which she kept in her drawer. Entering the house, Angela immediately felt the warmth. Although the boiler was working at a minimum, it was still pleasant to be inside, a bright contrast to the chill outside. Almost those were waiting for Angela Marienko at home. There was not only a black cat, Yaropolk, and an old German shepherd, a dog named Vulcan, but also 3 house devils and other spirit of the house. The main devil among Angela's servants was called Chiba, a gift from Satan. The second one, given to her by Vassago, was called Dragon. Angela didn't yet know the name of the third house devil, but she knew it was a gift from Belial. These creatures were like well-trained fighting dogs. She learned the name of the first devil, Chiba, when she was 10 years old, a week after her birthday. The name of the second devil, Drago, she learned relatively recently, sometime after her 17th birthday, when she graduated school and passed her exams. As Satan had told Angela she would learn the name of third devil before the prince came to her. The name in this is the key. Satan had spoken to Angela long ago when she was a girl. The name is the key. We have already given to you to you many keys. You have borrowed some of our names, and when you learn all of them, you will be able to interact with us as a full-grown and fully fledged witch. Remember, witches ask of God, but commanded to demons. This is the only way, and no other way. You can already command your familiars, who are your servants. They are well trained and have served your family for more than 1 century. After your death, they will go to someone else, but in the meanwhile, use what you were given by your birthright. All three devils looked about the same. The visual difference was minimal. They resembled the gargoyles on Notre Dame de Paris, uh, only a little more like a big ugly cats the size of a dog. Their differences lay in their personalities. Chiba was calm and balanced, with the ability to enter entertain, entertain and reflect on the task before him. He also acted as a patron on the afterthought. Drago had a rebellious nature and sometimes needed to be calmed until you said, "I command," in a tone that did not tolerate argument. He obeyed every other time. The third devil, the youngest of all, was thought how and what, but the first two. Though usually it wasn't necessary. The third one was the most playful among her servants. All three were usually black and in a short fur, like that of Cane Corso, like that of a Cane Corso. But when there was a danger to Angela, or if they were particularly emotional, for example, arguing with each other, they would turn dark blue purple. They all had large, very wise green eyes, much like a cat's. They sometimes walk on two legs, some other times on four. Since Satan told Angela that she could command those three devils, she occasionally did, but usually it was a good cop style. In the mornings when Angela left for class, she mentally ordered the demons to stay at home and watch her over the house so they wouldn't get underfoot while she was studying. The demons obeyed her as usual. And now, upon returning home, it wasn't just the cat and the dog that greeted her joyfully. Angela washed her hands and fed the cat and the dog. She did all this to the noisy complaints of the Domova and Dvorovy. The Domova looked like a miniature old lady in 19th century peasant clothes, while the Dvorovy appeared as a little bearded old man in the clothes of a bygone peasant era. The Domova looked after the house, while the Dvorovy kept an eye on the yard and his assistants, two Korgorushas. The Dvorovy and Domova were a couple, and for three generations of Angela's family they had served the household. Korgorushas are spirits who assist the Dvorovy in his work. They resemble small kittens with horns, like their fur was black and long, and their fur was black and long. And it often happened that they acted like misbehaved children, like they broke dishes, hid broom and whisks in the yard, and the owners of the house had to clean up after them and search for missing items. But in defense of these Gorgorushas, it could be said that they also brought benefits. Occasionally they found and returned lost money. For example, if Angela had misplaced 20 or 50 hryvnias, the Gorgorushas would find it and place it in the prominent spot. Angela had known the Dvorova and Dvorovy since childhood. If she can be familiar with the word Domova and Dvorovy, she first learned the term Kongorusha at the age of 16 when she read a book on Slavic myths. Her eyes widened as she realized who these black kittens with horns were. Before discovering the word Korgorusha, Angela had referred to them as crude and weird, because they were as naughty as spoiled children. Can you imagine, Angela, what happened while you were away? The Domova said loudly. Drago and the younger devil got into an argument and almost to the point of fighting, the Dvorovy added. I reconciled them, Chiba said calmly. They almost destroyed the house, the Domova was outraged. One word, evil. They didn't destroy it, Angela said mentally while pouring food into the Vulcan's bowl. All of them, shouted the Dvorovy, must be expelled. I already tried, the Domova said, and by the way, Angela, you know this. You say that, the student replied mentally, as if I am stronger than Satan. I had to accept his gifts and those of other dark entities. Well, do something with them, Angela, the Dvorovy begged. You know them for years, the girl responded mentally. If Satan is to be believed, they've been serving my family for a long time. They lived in another house, your relatives, until she died, the Domova said. The demons have been in this house for 12 years, ever since you became the most powerful witch in the family among the living. Fine, Angela continued mentally. What do you propose? How the hell I will deal with this? And in general, can I even do something about it? Instead of an answer, there was silence. I thought so, the girl said aloud. All this dialogue took place while the young lady had food and fed the cat and the dog. The Domova and Dvorovy, two Gorgorushas, and three familiars of the young witch followed her around, complaining about each other, which greatly assumed her. The first shadows pretended to be devilish nobles watched silently. The atmosphere is like in a kindergarten, Angela thought, entering the house. And don't I know it, Chiba agreed, following her. Then the girl took a bath, changed into a sports suit, and had a little snack. She turned on the Nirvana vinyl that she had been thinking about in the yard and got started on her homework. None of their relatives were in the estate. Her mother and stepfather were at work, so Angela could listen to music loudly despite the lateness of the hour. Angela's older sister lived in Yerevan. Despite the distance, they kept in touch almost every day. The sound of rain mingled in with the music. It was already 11:30. A vinyl record was spinning on the turntable. The drops of autumn rain were trapping against the window glass. The band Morphine played their flawless tune while Angela drank coffee with milk and spices, following her uh, following her own invented recipe. She called this drink pepper spray because it contained ground black and white pepper. Amber scented incense was slowly smoldering and candles were burning. The room was dimly lit. While the hostess went through notebooks with notes and did her homework, she spied her copy with some treats. She decided not to drink wine. After some time, the record played to the end, and Angela decided to put on another one. She chose a gift from her father, a vinyl of Emerson, Lake and Power, abbreviated ELP. It was a vintage record released in 1986, a year when Angela had not yet been born. Instead of finishing her homework, Angela began working on her first novel. She sat down at the table, opened her laptop, and started typing as the rain drummed against the window and ELP played rock music. So this is the end of the chapter. I'm very pleased to read this for you. Thank you very much, and see you later to the next videos.